All right, we are about to dive into one of the biggest, most mind-bending questions you can possibly ask. A question that really blurs the line between physics and just pure philosophy.
I mean, really think about it. Does the universe have an edge? And if it does, what happens when you get there? Is there a giant wall, a sign that says, Cosmos closed? Or is there just nothing? That's the huge mystery we're going to tackle today.
So before we get completely lost in all the crazy possibilities, let's ground ourselves in what we actually know. What can science tell us right now about the universe's boundaries?
Okay, so because nothing in the universe travels faster than light, we're basically living inside a giant cosmic bubble. It's a sphere that contains everything whose light has had enough time to get to us since the Big Bang. And guess who's at the center? We are, right in the middle of our own personal observable universe. And that bubble is just ridiculously huge. Now, your first thought might be, okay, the universe is about 14 billion years old, so the radius must be 14 billion light years, right? Makes sense? But here's the twist. While that light was traveling towards us, space itself was expanding. So the place that light started its journey is now a staggering 45 billion light years away from us.
So this is the most important part to get your head around. When we look out to the farthest corners of our universe, we are not looking at some kind of physical wall. We are literally looking back in time. We're seeing the universe as it was just after it was born. We're not running out of space to look at, we're running out of past.
And that, of course, brings us to the ultimate cosmic dilemma. Beyond our bubble, what's really going on? Is the entire universe just incredibly big, but finite? Or does it actually go on forever?
Let's try a simpler analogy. Let's talk ice cream. If the universe is finite, then in theory, you could fill the whole thing up with ice cream. Yeah, it would be an absolutely insane amount of ice cream, but there would be a limit. It would be a specific, finite number of scoops.
But see, that's where the paradox kicks in. A finite universe means there has to be a boundary, right? A cosmic wall at the end of everything. But the universe, by its very definition, is everything. So how can there be an outside of, well, everything? The question itself just feels like it breaks your brain.
So how do we solve this impossible cosmic wall problem? Well, this is where physics gets really clever. It uses the weirdness of geometry to build a universe that's finite, but has no edge at all.
I want you to imagine you're a tiny little ant, and you're walking on the surface of an orange. From your ant-sized point of view, the ground looks totally flat, and it seems like it goes on forever. You could just walk and walk in a straight line, and you would never, ever hit a wall. And yet, we know the orange has a limited, finite surface area. And that's the wild idea behind a hypersphere. Our three-dimensional space could be curved, curled back on itself, just like the two-dimensional surface of that orange. Now, it's pretty much impossible for our minds to actually picture this, but the logic works. If you hopped in a spaceship and flew in a perfectly straight line, you would eventually loop around the entire cosmos and arrive right back where you started. And just like that, you have a universe that is both finite and borderless. Pretty cool, huh?
But hold on, because it gets even weirder. There's another possibility some scientists have kicked around, a hyper-donut. Yeah, a donut. Unlike the smooth, even curve of the orange, a donut shape would mean space isn't the same in all directions. And this could create this bizarre effect called a cosmic hall of mirrors. Light from a single distant galaxy could reach us from multiple directions. You could literally see a star being born in one part of the sky and watch that exact same star dying in another.
Okay, so those are the mind-bending possibilities for a finite universe. But what if we go down the other path? What if the universe really is infinite? This is where things start to sound less like physics and more like something out of a wild science fiction movie.
Just imagine it for a second. You're in your spaceship, you pick a direction, and you just go. Forever. You'd pass countless galaxies, endless stars and planets. But if you could keep going long enough, what is the single most incredible thing you could possibly find out there?
You could find you, an exact copy of you, someone with your exact memories, your thoughts, your feelings, right down to the very last atom, who might even be watching this explainer at this exact same moment. A cosmic twin. It sounds completely impossible, but in an infinite universe, it's not just possible, it's a logical certainty.
And the logic behind this is actually surprisingly simple. Step 1. Everything in our observable bubble is made from a limited number of particle types. Step 2. That means those particles can only be arranged in a limited,
though, astronomically huge number of ways. And step 3, if you have a finite number of combinations, but an infinite amount of space to play with, probability says those combinations have to repeat eventually.
Now, before you start packing your bags to go meet your cosmic doppelganger, take a look at this number. That's the estimated distance in universe-sized chunks you'd have to go to find another Earth. It's a 1 with a 1 followed by 29 zeros after it. It's a number so big that for all practical purposes, it might as well be forever.
Okay, at this point, we've gone from real astronomy way out to the farthest edges of scientific philosophy. So let's take a deep breath and pull it back. What does any of this really mean for us right here, right now?
Well, the simple truth is, we'll probably never know the real answer. As cool and as fascinating as these ideas are, they are, at least for now, totally beyond our ability to prove one way or the other. I mean, if the universe is infinite, we could, by definition, never travel far enough to check.
For all of us, for all of human history, our universe is the observable part. That bubble, 45 billion light-years in radius, is home to hundreds of billions of galaxies, and even if that seems small compared to infinity, it is more than vast enough to hold every single dream we could ever have. As one of the original writers put it so perfectly, it's infinitely enough for all of us.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Does it really matter if the whole show goes on forever and ever, or is the unbelievable majesty of the cosmos that we can see, the one that holds everything we've ever known and ever will know, more than enough to fill us with wonder?